Hello and welcome to the Field of Hope Sowing Seeds of Hope event. I am Nicholas and I will be your pre-show host. I'm so glad that you are able to join us tonight for our annual fundraiser. We have lots to show you tonight before the main show. So let's get started. As you know, Field of Hope has a fellowship program and we wanted to take some time to introduce to you our past fellows. Here they are.
Hey y'all, I'm Bree Cooper and I graduated from the MEAT program at Oklahoma State University this past spring. My fellowship with Field of Hope took place during the summer of 2020, so my experience was virtual and domestic. Even though it was unconventional, I learned so much from my time with Field of Hope. One of my favorite fellow memories was when all of the interns and fellows who'd been working together virtually over the summer got to come together and have an in-person meetup. We spent the whole day hanging out, laughing and sharing stories, and eating tons of donuts.
Hi, my name is Katie Schroe. I was the spring of 2018 Field of Hope Fellow with the Masters of the International Agriculture program at Oklahoma State University. I have lots of great memories and experiences during my time in Uganda, but I'd have to say one of my fondest memories are going to church in Uganda. It's an experience like no other, and I even got to spend a little time teaching Sunday school to the kids. Just one of the many great memories with my time in Uganda and with Field of Hope.
Hello, my name is Jessica Spence, and in the summer of 2020, I was a Field of Hope Fellow. My journey with Field of Hope began about a year prior to that as I traveled to Uganda with Field of Hope to be their photographer. And I pretty much never stopped working with Field of Hope since. I really enjoyed my fellowship. I really value what we were able to create in the summer of 2020. I spent the majority of my fellowship working with my fellow fellows, but my biggest project was converting Field of Hope's teacher training into a virtual online platform. This meant that Field of Hope's teaching partners in country were still able to receive their training, and that training is now used as an onboarding tool and has continued to be in use. I'm really proud of the sustainability of the project that I got to work on and that it still continues to make an impact with Field of Hope to this day. I would say one of my favorite memories from my fellowship is getting to zoom in with the Ugandan team. Nicholas, Walter, and Agnes, I adore you all, and it was a pleasure to work with you then and continue to work with you now. I strongly encourage anyone considering a Field of Hope Fellowship to apply and take it. Even in unexpected circumstances, it ended up being one of the best experiences that I've had thus far. So thank you to Field of Hope for choosing me to be one of your lucky fellows.
I have had the pleasure of working with several of these fellows in Uganda over the years, and I have enjoyed working with them. Alongside me on the Ugandan team here at Field of Hope are Walter, Agnes, and Joseph. Let's take a moment to get to know the Ugandan team a little better.
I'm Akulu Walter, Field of Hope's Uganda Country Coordinator. I worked with Field of Hope for close to 6 years, and in my role, I oversee and work with all the pillars, also acting as the lead trainer for agri-science training for all the smallholder farmer groups. On top of that, I also do conduct Uganda's administrative oversight functions. And moving forward, my desire is to continue helping Field of Hope to develop and achieve its strategic goals regarding agricultural empowerment and transformation of youth and marginalized women communities. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Apaya Joseph. I work with the Field of Hope as a volunteer, and so far I've worked now for 4 months, and my area of work is a smallholder farmers advancement, a pillar of the Field of Hope that is concerned with empowering the community as well as building resilience in food security. Thank you.
My name is Agnes Obote. I work for Field of Hope as the General Coordinator. I've been with Field of Hope since its inception. My goal is to share the love of Christ with the communities we work with. In everything that we do, they should be able to see Christ. When you have Christ, you have hope, because Christ is the living hope and is the source of everything. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my My name is Nicholas Seoramu. I work as a program associate at Field of Hope, Uganda office. I've worked with Field of Hope for now more than 2 years, and I mainly work in the Youth Agriculture Education Program, which comprises of the Agriculture Teacher Guide Development, Teacher Professional Development, and the Inspiring Students Agriculture Grant. I'm also involved in monitoring and evaluation efforts for different projects within other programs. Thank you. I'm so glad you were able to meet my team. They're a huge part of my role with Field of Hope. Another part of what I do with Field of Hope is working with agriculture teachers and help to provide them with opportunities for advancement. One of those this year was participating in the GLAD conference.
Hello, my name is Daniel Foster. I'm an associate professor of agricultural and extension education at the Pennsylvania State University. Really, I'm an agriculture teacher educator who loves championing educators and the powerful impact they can have on our world. In fact, that fundamental belief is what led me to be a co-founder of the Global Teach Ag Network. Now, the Global Teach Ag Network is all about championing educators of all disciplines, of all contexts, anywhere in the world, as we look to make this world the place we all want to be in. And as through that, we developed a digital professional community of practice, a place to convene like-minded, passionate educators that we call GLAD, Global Learning and Agriculture Conference. In 2021, we were thrilled to have nearly 1,000 educators from all 50 US states and 40 nations. And the largest non-US delegation, it was from Uganda. And it was because of the support and help of Field of Hope to help these educators have access to this great community of practice. It was exhilarating to see them participate and share and to use the different features of our platform to conduct their own meetings. Now, I'm hoping that we can continue our involvement and support and collaboration with Field of Hope and with educators across the world in helping make sure that they know that we're there for them.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicholas, program associate at Field of Hope. I got an opportunity to attend the GLAD Virtual Conference 2021, and I was privileged and thrilled by the experience. I got an opportunity to interact and share my experiences and also learn from other agriculture educators and extension officers from across the world. I was able to learn from their experiences and share. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hi GLAD team, this is Rachel, a teacher of agriculture in Uganda. It was so great being part of the GLAD Learning Conference, which happened in February, which opened my mind more on the agriculture opportunities for both students and agri educators globally. Looking forward to acquire more experience with the global learning in agriculture. Thank you.
Hello viewers. I'm Kavali Edward, a teacher of agriculture at Grace High School here in Uganda. I'm one of the proud participants of GLAD 2020, and I benefited a lot through the experiences that we shared from different parts of the globe. Yeah, from GLAD I came to realize from different participants that I have quite a number of resources here which I didn't know. So as a result, it has prompted me even to go deep into utilizing them such that I can make ends meet. I'm also grateful that I was able to make friends whom I bonded with even up to date, and we still do interact and share knowledge. GLAD 2020 was very, very fantastic. God bless you.
So thank you for the opportunity to share this video, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Dr. Foster, and everyone else that made GLAD possible. Now, on to some other people that I am really thankful for. The Field of Hope Founders Circle. Kali Trickup is one of the Founder Circle members. Let's hear what she has to say.
Hello, my name is Carrie Trenkamp, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors for Field of Hope. I've been involved with Field of Hope for over 6 years in the volunteer position of Finance Director. I'm also a member of the Field of Hope Founders Circle. The Founders Circle is a select group of donors who cover administrative costs for the organization. The funds raised through the Founders Circle allow us to maintain what we call our 100% promise to donors. And what this promise says is that all donations that you make go directly to programs happening in country. This is a promise that we as a board are proud to make. We know that it is important to donors to know that 100% of their donations are going towards meaningful programs like agricultural training in Uganda, as an example.
Hi, I'm Graham Thompson from Janesville in Iowa. I'm so pleased to be part of Field of Hope. I joined the Advisory Council 1 year ago, and I have been enjoying learning about the great work Field of Hope are doing in Uganda and India. I'm learning just how valuable agricultural education is. I'm also learning real time just how challenging and rewarding farming can be, and it helps me relate more to the challenges that smallholder farmers are facing in Africa and India. When I go out to my fields, I think of the families in Uganda who are dependent on their farms for their livelihood and their children's well-being and education. Field of Hope plays such a key role in youth education, smallholder farmer advancement, and leadership development, and it's important to me and to my family that we support the work of Field of Hope financially and with our time. It's my honor to be part of the team.
Hi, Dan Strimke here. I love Field of Hope because I see God using this ministry to reach His people in a powerful way. I'm excited about this year's Sowing Seeds of Hope event and hope you are as well. I'm a member of the Founders Circle because I know the importance of strong Christian leadership and continuity it provides season to season and year after year. The Founders Circle funds that leadership, enabling other fundraising efforts to be used for programming and training. I invite you to join me in this important work.
You can join the Founders Circle by making a 3-year commitment of $5,000 per year towards administrative costs of Field of Hope. If being a part of this select group is at all intriguing to you, I encourage you to ask questions, to learn more, to pray about it. I truly hope that you'll consider joining me.
Thank you, our Fundraiser Circle, for supporting Field of Hope. We certainly value your support, especially in this last year, with the COVID-19 pandemic is very many challenges. They have affected our programs not only in Uganda, but our work in India as well. Let's hear about that.
My name is Steve Meinzen. Along with my wife Faith, we've been on the Field of Hope Board of Directors since 2015. I want to share with you a little bit of a different part of the world that we serve, and that's India. We've been in India since 2015, but my passion goes back to the 1930s, when my grandparents first started to serving Christ and spreading the gospel to the Indians in southern India. You see the picture here, dating and showing them in the 1930s. So I have a passion in this stage of my life to give back to India that I got so much from in my formative years. Let's talk to you a little bit about modern India, where Field of Hope is affected. First of all, Field of Hope is working with a partner agency called Bethania in India. But India has had recent outbreaks of COVID that have been devastating. Because of some recent gatherings and school going back in session, the outbreak of COVID in India has taken a hold in 2021 like never in any other country. Up to 2 million deaths have been recorded. Lack of hospital infrastructure means that many people are not getting the oxygen they need and have to suffer through painful deaths. But the lack of hospital beds, and in particular oxygen, has meant that COVID has particularly taken hold in India. Women and children have been disproportionately affected because of the lack of income from the lockdown. India pays 75% of the vaccination for their citizens, but that has made for a challenge for the very poor who have the choice between the 25% remaining cost and or eating. Private schools have been shut down because of the lockdown. You don't get it, students, you don't get paid. So up to 50% of Indian students are educated in these private schools. Additionally, India enacted a Foreign Contribution Regulation Act that limits funds to NGOs, non-governmental operations in India, except through the Bank of India, the Indian Bank. That has created regulatory challenges for our partners and any NGO operating in India. So what specifically is Field of Hope doing in southern India with our partner? First of all, our partners in Bethania has been very active, checking up on orphans that were sent home or sent to nearest relatives. They're also working with daycare and women's empowerment programs they're active in to make sure the participants are staying healthy and get some food. They're also building a new girls' home near the boys' home in southern India, and they are working actively to try to find out if there are additional orphans, which there certainly are, that they can bring into the homes as needed. What is Field of Hope doing with Bethania? We are partnering with them to bring planting and gardening expertise to those orphanages that have land, and also be able to teach the residents, the students, boys and girls, how to raise food for themselves. We're working with them on women's empowerment programs to make sure those ladies know how to garden properly. Future plans, and already budgeted within Field of Hope, is putting plantings, trees, shrubs, edibles on that new girls' home as soon as construction is finished later this year. And future plans include partnering with local Christian colleges in India, as well as Bethania, to deliver ag education to the hill tribes people that are typically left out of any education process. So we're looking forward to you partnering with us, both in Uganda and India, and we look forward to any input that you have on what our mission is in India and Uganda. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you all for updating us on our programs in India. This past year has been certainly challenging, but it has not been without some amazing moments. Let's take a look back at our Lunch and Learn series with Walter from this spring.
So as you're aware, Field of Hope has three major pillars. That's the youth agriculture education pillar, the smallholder farmer advancement pillar, and the leadership development pillar.
Okay, we are live. Hello, Field of Hope family. Thank you for joining us for our session of Lunch and Learn with Walter. We are so excited to be here today to talk a little bit more about our leadership development pillar. And you guys should know Walter by now, but if you don't, my guest here is Akulu Walter, our Field of Hope country coordinator in Uganda. I have some pre-submitted questions we'll start with. This first one is from Jack, and he asks, what does a leadership development pillar look like for Field of Hope?
And given that that's the third pillar, and most times people tend to underlook or overlook, but it's equally very important. The leadership development pillar was actually initiated, or given that Field of Hope was looking to incorporate more people in its work, to build the partnership, and also to empower the team that it works with.
Welcome to Field of Hope's Lunch and Learn Session 2 with Akulu Walter. Today we're here to talk about Field of Hope's efforts in youth agricultural education. This question came to us from Jessica. How does Field of Hope engage youth through agriculture?
Thank you so much for this question again. So youth agricultural education pillar, one thing that we have really tried to do as Field of Hope to ensure that we engage the youth is the curriculum development, which ensures that we work with the schools. And in this curriculum, it's actually a review of the old curriculum, which was being used by the Uganda education system. And as you're aware, the approach that was employed in there wasn't really practical in nature, and that made most of the youth to really look at agriculture as a punishment, and none of them really wanted to go into it. So what the curriculum development section does is that it reviewed the curriculum itself and made it more practical, more experiential, and more engaging, and above all, it is learner-centered. So in this way, we ensure that we actually motivated more students to go into agriculture, and not only that, also take agriculture as a means of living, because as you're aware, most of the people in the country depend on agriculture as a source of livelihood.
We certainly learned so much from Walter this year. Now, on to some exciting content for this evening. Here is a preview of our golden ticket prize and a preview of our auction items. There are certainly some wonderful items and experiences up for grabs this evening. After showing you those, I want to take a moment to recognize and thank our sponsors for this evening. Not only is Vapaik tonight's sponsor, but they are a vital and lasting partner for us at Field of Hope. Here is a video in their honor.
Vapaik first started working with Field of Hope in 2013, and it started with Mike Hafner reaching out to inquire about the cost to develop a smallholder training curriculum. We knew Field of Hope was new and that the amount of time it would take to build a curriculum like that would be quite expensive for a new nonprofit organization. But we looked at it as an opportunity for all of us to work together on one project. We had grown to the point where we didn't interact as often as we did when we had started out. So we were looking for something that we could all work on together. So rather than send Mike a cost proposal, we made a pitch. Let us be your education team. And not just for this project, for the next 5 years, so that we could help grow and improve the curriculum as the organization needed. It was a tough negotiation, but we finally convinced them, and we've seen ourselves as an extension of Field of Hope ever since. At Vivaic, we build complete curricula and training programs for departments of education, companies, nonprofits. That's our business model, and many of our clients are in the food and ag industry. So it's easy for us to just bring our past experience, our skills, and our time and offer Field of Hope to use that to develop curriculum and training materials needed to drive the mission forward. And for the last 5 years, that effort has been poured into a series of year-long secondary school curriculum guides for teachers, as well as some professional development sessions for those teachers in Uganda that want to use the guides in their schools. So we spend anywhere from 4 to 6 months breaking up into teams, working on writing or revising lesson plans, and making sure that it all comes together so that teachers have a resource that they need. When Doug Keeker and I started Vivaic, we went out looking for companies that we thought could be role models for the kind of company we wanted to build. One thing we noticed about all the companies we admired was that they shared a common trait about being deeply invested in their community. Our challenge was we were a 100% virtual company at that time. We didn't have a hometown, so to speak, but Field of Hope and the volunteers and teachers that are part of Field of Hope have become our community. And let me tell you, our team is fully invested in the success of our community. As much as we invest in Field of Hope, we get exponentially more in return. Every year, teammates tell me how grateful they are for the chance to be part of this work and for the opportunity to do the work as a team. And many of our teammates contribute beyond the curriculum efforts. And that's really amazing to witness. And that's really the thread that runs through our team and connects us in doing shared, meaningful work that has purpose in the world. Our hopes for the future are a reflection of our hopes from the past. We want to continue to serve as an extension of Field of Hope and provide the curriculum and training materials needed to equip the programs and services that fulfill the mission of Field of Hope in terms of developing agricultural knowledge, getting youth and smallholder farmers enthused about the opportunities to both bring food security as well as economic empowerment to their communities. We hope that more of our team members get to engage with leaders and educators on the ground in Uganda, and that they take opportunities to serve in additional capacities if they feel called to do so in Field of Hope. So we just continue to hope that we leverage all of the gifts that we've been given to give back to others, and hopefully continue to inspire other organizations to do the same, to make the kinds of investments year after year that help great organizations do good in the world.
Thank you so much to Vivaic. We are forever grateful for your support and partnership. And thank you to all out there watching for choosing to spend your evening with us. I hope you have enjoyed the pre-show time with me. Now it's time to get to our main show.
Welcome to the second annual Sowing Seeds of Hope fundraiser event for Field of Hope. I'm Dr. Tobin Redwine. I'm a member of the board of directors and a longtime volunteer for Field of Hope.
And I'm Alexa Wilcox, the executive director for Field of Hope.
We're so glad you're here, viewers from all over the world. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this a priority, and thank you for your support for Field of Hope. Tonight's going to be a great night. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be full of inspiration and stories and laughter and an understanding of the challenges that the last year has brought to our partners in Uganda and India. And when I think about all that, Alexa, it makes me just want to belt out some of this on the harmonica.
Of course it does.
Because we got a lot to celebrate. That's an amazing, graceful thing. Thank you guys for being here. Clearly we have a night of jubilation in front of us. But before we get to all of that, Alexa, let's pause for a moment of prayer. Friends watching at home, wherever you are, pray with us. Dear Heavenly Father, we are thankful. We're thankful for those who have tuned in to watch. We're thankful for their generous, kind hearts. We're thankful for our partners in India and Uganda. And ultimately, God, we're thankful for this opportunity to reflect your love to our neighbors through this Sowing Seeds of Hope event. We ask that you bless all of those that are here with us tonight, bless the efforts of Field of Hope, and allow us to continue serving in your mission. We ask these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, Tobin. We know there's been a little glitch with the silent auction, but don't worry, we're actively working to get that back and get it live because I know there are several of you ready to secure your winning bid for those auction items. Of course, tonight would not be possible without our treasured partner, Vivaic. If you've been around for Field of Hope very long, you know just how important Vivaic is to us and to the work that we do. We couldn't think of partnering with anyone better who truly values not only our mission, but values the people involved. Thank you, Vivaic, for sponsoring tonight's Sowing Seeds of Hope event.
Thank you also to our advisory board and our board of directors for guiding and directing the work that Field of Hope does in Uganda and India, and also for being stewards to help us accrue the resources we need to operate these programs. When I think about those resources, I'm reminded of this really outstanding opportunity that we have to announce to you guys for tonight's event, and that's a match! A match means that if you're a first-time donor to Sowing Seeds of Hope, every dollar you give will be matched up to $15,000. And if you've given previously, every dollar above $250 will be matched. So that means that your dollars tonight, whether you've given before or you're a first-time donor, can be doubled and your impact can go even further. We can't wait to take advantage of that with you and to help spread the impacts of Field of Hope even further.
The organization truly is a family of people, and there are so many people who are making this stream possible tonight, and we just want to say thank you. You guys saw the awesome videos in the pre-show, and you're going to see several more throughout the rest of the evening, and we just have to say thanks to Jessica Spence. She works so hard behind the scenes year-round to make this event possible, along with so many other things at Field of Hope, so thank you, Jess. We also have Bree Cooper chatting with you all. I've seen the interactions. Let her know where you're calling in from, and drop a chat and say hi to Bree. We have to say thank you too to the Walton webcasting team. We have Braxton and George behind these cameras working their tails off so that you guys can have a wonderful event this evening. So thank you to all of those people making tonight possible.
And in addition to making tonight possible behind the scenes, we also know there's a lot going on your screen. One Cause is a really neat platform, and it allows us to do a lot of things at once, all in the name of celebrating the work that Field of Hope is doing. But to make sure that we're all on the same page and we have the most successful night, Alexa, do you want to give us a quick rundown and orient us to our digital space?
I sure will. Let's jump to the screen.
Welcome to the One Cause interface. To ensure that your credit card information is uploaded and you're prepared to bid on our live auction items, you can select the shopping cart icon in the top right-hand corner. To chat with the host during the live show, select this Chat tab on the right-hand screen of the viewing screen. To just make a straight donation, select the Donate tab and select this green button. You can then choose a custom amount. During the live auction time, the auction interface will appear in this box. You can then select your bid amount and make your bids using a button here. This will only appear during the live auction period. If you scroll down, you can access even more information and more items. To purchase a golden ticket raffle, to register early for the Giving Tuesday 6K with a discount, or to purchase a photo book,
you select the Shop Items tab. During the paddle raise event, you'll want to make your way to this Donations tab, where you'll see the levels of the paddle raise available here with further explanation. To select a level, hit the Donate button. It will then purchase and add to your cart. If you'd like to see a preview of the live auction item, you can select this here. Remember, this will only be a preview. To bid, you'll need to scroll up and be on the right-hand side of the viewing screen. To bid on silent auction items, however, you can select the Silent Auction tab and scroll through and see the bids that you're winning on, or make an additional bid on a new item. Don't forget to select Confirm Bid when bidding. You'll have to do that twice. That should be it for your orientation into the One Cause interface.
Thanks, Alexa. Friends and neighbors, now we're oriented for a great night. We're excited to celebrate, raise funds to support Field of Hope. And we're set up for this great night, but we wouldn't be here tonight if not for our outstanding partners in Uganda and India, great supporters like you, but also the leadership of this organization. You know, Field of Hope turned 10 this year. We're a decade old. And in turning 10 years old, we know that we wouldn't be at that spot without the vision of our founders, Mike and Kathy Hafner and Brandy Young. So to learn more about the legacy and vision that it took to get us to 10 years, let's hear from Mike, Kathy, and Brandy.
Hello, I'm Brandy Young, and 10 years ago, we started a journey that took us around the world to Uganda. It started with a mission to reconcile the differences between what we knew was possible in agriculture and watching the struggle in dealing with temperate weather and yield conditions in Uganda and knowing more was possible. So it started just with this burden, and God with this gentle whisper saying, there is something more here. There is something that we can bring and do something special. And that's what we've got to watch roll out these past 10 years.
I'm Mike Hafner, and we thank you for being a part of this journey and for being here as we reflect on the many adventures and accomplishments of this past decade.
Hi, I'm Kathy Hafner. When we established Field of Hope in 2011, we had no idea where this adventure would take us, but God has been faithful to chart the course.
Thank you for celebrating 2021 and the last 10 years with us tonight.
And thank you for catching the vision of Field of Hope and sharing in this journey.
We cannot wait to see what the next 10 years hold.
Alexa, what a great 10 years it's been. I saw you in that video. And it's going to be another great 10 years moving forward. And you know what? We're excited that we've got to spend those last 10 years with all of our partners. And we're most excited that we get to spend those last 10 years and the next 10 with our Field of Hope family. And viewers, wherever you are, that includes you. So what we're asking you to do right now is on social media. We want to see you. We want to interact with you. We want you to feel like you're part of that family. So post a picture of you and your family wherever you are. Let's see the Field of Hope family. So go ahead and post your Field of Hope family to Facebook or Instagram using the hashtag Sowing Seeds of Hope 2021. And make sure your post is public, because later on in our show, we're going to pull from that hashtag and get a couple of winners and give them some Field of Hope swag coming your way. So go ahead and post so we can see who you are and share in your living room wherever it is. Thanks for being here tonight. We're excited about the awesome prizes and the great things coming up. What else we got cooking?
You know, we have several of those awesome silent auction items, and one of those being this beautiful painting. There are several listed. You also have the opportunity to get a matching jacket to Tobin's really great
check out these
Ugandan
duds.
wear.
Jimmy the Tailor, custom made in Lira, Uganda. I got a couple of these bad boys. You can get yourself one. Silent auction as soon as it's live again.
Yep, we're working to get it live for sure.
And then there's one other thing. Don't forget about this. So there are only 100 golden tickets available, and they're $100 each. You can buy them on the corner of your screen over there. And at some point tonight, we're going to reveal the winner of the golden ticket. And when we do that, we're going to celebrate the fact that somebody gets to choose one of those outstanding packages. And whoever it is, please take me with you. I'd love to go to the beach.
Tobin, if you're going to the beach, you know, a lot of people like to start exercising before they go to the beach. I'm not saying you need to.
What you trying to say here, pal?
But if you needed
this jacket fits still, I swear.
If you needed to, I know just how you can do that. You can walk a 6K on Giving Tuesday. Every year, Field of Hope hosts our Giving Tuesday 6K in honor of the women in Uganda and Africa who walk on average 6 kilometers a day to fetch water for their families. You can do that too with us this year. But tonight we have a special opportunity for you to enroll in the Giving Tuesday 6K at a discounted rate. So let's learn a little bit more about what exactly the Giving Tuesday 6K is, and we hope that you'll join us on November 30th.
I'm walking 6 kilometers this morning.
I have a gallon strapped to my back, and I'm about to strap a gallon to my front. I'm carrying about 40 pounds of water. CD has about 4.5 gallons maybe with him.
Carrying 40 pounds of water.
And we are ready to go walk us a 6K.
In honor of the women smallholder farmers that we work with.
In honor of women in Africa.
To represent the women who walk an average 6 kilometers
every day.
To get water for their homes and families.
Because of the women in Uganda that are fetching water and moving 6 kilometers to look for their water. So we take on the challenge today. Thank you.
Giving Tuesday 6K is a fantastic event every year. And I'll tell you this much, Alexa, if Mike Hafner can do it in the snow twice while carrying 40 pounds of water, I think the rest of us can muscle up and do it as well. So thanks, Mike, for setting a great example for us last year. I'm looking forward to this year's Giving Tuesday 6K. Friends at home, I hope that you are enjoying learning more about Field of Hope and all of the programs that we do to facilitate new opportunities for our friends in Uganda and India. We also want to learn more about you, though. So just like Alexa and I might post a quick selfie to show that we're posting on Sowing Seeds of Hope 2021, we want you to do the same thing. We're going to pull from that hashtag and give away some Field of Hope swag later in the evening.
What I think is one of the coolest things about Sowing Seeds of Hope is that it starts a couple weeks in advance, so you guys can look at the live auction items, you can start bidding on the silent auction items. And I have some wonderful news about just how far we have gotten since Sowing Seeds of Hope 2021 started in August. We told you earlier about the match supported by our Board of Directors and Advisory Council, but I have even better news that we're only $300 away from meeting that match.
That means we're only $300 away from triggering a $15,000 match to make your impacts go even further. Way to go, supporters and Field of Hope family. We're excited about that. We know we've got a great slate of things planned in the night, including auctioning this live auction item, that painting. Tell us about that, Alexa.
This painting was hand-selected for all of you from Walter, our country coordinator, and our dear friend of Field of Hope, Sam. It came all the way from Uganda, shipped to DHL, I've never done that before, and it was custom framed by the Gallery Frame Shop in Wichita Falls. I love this painting because not only does it represent the wildlife you can find in Uganda, but also wildlife you can find in India. Now, what version of that elephant we have here, we're not sure. We need our wildlife experts to confirm. But I know that it'll look beautiful no matter where you hang it in your house.
And so no matter whether you think it's an Asian elephant or an African elephant, what you do need to know is that you gotta have your credit card information entered in so that when we trigger our live auction soon, you'll be ready to bid and you won't miss out on this beautiful artwork. You know, Alexa, you said that artwork was chosen, hand-selected by our friend, country coordinator for Uganda for Field of Hope, Okulu Walter. Man, I gotta tell you, Okulu Walter is one of the most wonderful people on the planet. You can see him on his Walter Wisdom Wednesdays. The first time I met Walter, I whipped out this harmonica, we did the blues. And he said, that's pretty cool. And then I learned later he's a fantastic football player. And as a football player, I was like, man, I've got 3 boys. I need them to know how to play soccer. So Walter and I have an agreement. He's going to teach my boys to be better footballers. I'm going to teach him the blues. But there's another...
I'm confused as to why he's not teaching you how to play football.
Okay, all right. I'm a little past my prime. But anyway, the point is that one other thing that Walter can teach us all about is what the reality has been like in Uganda for the last year. We know COVID-19 has hit all of our partners and communities hard. So Walter's going to tell us just a little bit more about the groups that have been impacted, including in our agricultural education pillar, teachers that have been trained and partner with Field of Hope. Some of them have been without income for over 4 months because of school shutdowns. As you guys know, Field of Hope's got a teacher relief campaign where we've raised more than $4,000 to offer some relief support for those teachers. That's just one of the ways that Field of Hope is operating in Uganda right now to make our partners' lives better. Let's hear from Walter, a country coordinator, Okulu Walter, to learn more about the activities in Uganda over the last year and what else we've been up to.
Hello, I'm Okulu Walter, Field of Hope's Uganda Country Coordinator, and thanks so much for joining the Field of Hope virtual fundraiser. So this video is meant to give you a glimpse of what your support always helps us to achieve as Field of Hope. But first, allow me to give you the COVID-19 status in the country. So to date, Uganda has recorded about 120,000 COVID-19 cases with 3,045 deaths. The government in the past has been instituting a couple of lockdowns to try to curb the spread of this virus, but to date we are still under partial lockdown where schools and institutions are closed, and this greatly affects our work as Field of Hope since we cannot interact with the teachers and the students we work with. Gatherings also have been restricted to only 20 of members or participants. So for this matter, we cannot go ahead and continue to train our farmers. Public transport has only been limited to carry half their capacities, so meaning our farmers cannot transport their commodities to the nearest markets and sell them. And the markets that are allowed to operate are only food markets, and yet some of our farmers are involved in other petty businesses, so meaning they cannot sell their commodities. However, we have some glimpses of hope. The daily infection rate has decreased, where we have now 150 new infection rates on average in the past 7 days, compared to about 1,000 plus that we used to register in the past couple of months. And the government is also stepping up the vaccination efforts to the citizens, and we are hopeful that in the near future, the situation will normalize. However, as Field of Hope, we have been striving amidst this hardship to ensure that we achieve, as much as possible, our set targets. So because of that, we managed to conduct the virtual teacher training to 102 teachers. We extended relief support to 140 teachers, mostly those ones who are not receiving their salaries, and 280 farmers who were greatly affected by drought and COVID-19. We also conducted the review of the S1 and S2 teacher guides, and they are nearing completion. As far as farmers go, we conducted 50% of our planned trainings to these farmers, mostly before the restrictions were instituted. We also managed to recruit 2 new groups whom we are going to be working with in 2022. We worked with 120 teachers who were facilitated to attend the Global Learning in Agriculture conference, and we also managed to recruit 1 volunteer and 2 interns for this year. As an office, we set up urban farming, which is going to be a training center for the teachers and students for practical hands-on agricultural experience. So overall, we achieved about 60% of our set targets for 2021. That means the 40% will have to be rolled over to 2022. So, my dear friends, this is where your support is highly needed to help us achieve, our 2022 plans and programs that are planned to help, support our needy communities. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Not only is Walter one of our dear friends, but he's also Field of Hope's first ever university scholarship recipient. A little bit later, we're going to talk to you about how you can support another scholarship recipient for only $2,000. In the meantime, I'm giving you a warning. This golden ticket will be selected. The winner will be selected in just 2 minutes.
You want me to hang on to that?
I think God's better with me. If you haven't grabbed your ticket yet, I urge you to buy one now. But more importantly, we have an awesome community out there joining us. We saw Lacey in Mississippi. We saw the Stremkes in Kansas City. And we've seen so many of you using the Sowing Seeds of Hope 2021 hashtag. But I think we have a special person who gets some of this Field of Hope swag.
Congratulations to our friend Joe Schomer. You're the big winner for the Field of Hope swag. Thanks for posting for Sowing Seeds of Hope. Keep those posts coming. And Joe, drop us a note in the chat so that we can make sure that you can claim your prize and we can send it to you. And before that, you don't have to be a lucky winner like Joe. You can take home some really cool stuff tonight. In just a few moments, there's not going to be any more cutaways. We're going to auction off this really incredible piece of art. So be sure your credit cards are ready so that when we start our live auction in just a few moments, you'll be prepared for that. But I want to make sure I can draw your attention to another thing that's open to you. In the buy now options, one of the things is our photo journey with Field of Hope. These photo books were put together with photos taken entirely by Field of Hope fellows and volunteers, and each one of them is an absolute visual testament to the people that are directly impacted by our programs in Uganda. Each one of them is a person that your dollars support, and each one of them is a really fantastic visual story that you can take home and help remember the work that Field of Hope does. And I also think they make great stocking stuffers, as long as you have big feet. So Christmas is coming. Get you some photo books. We're excited about that.
I have the very lucky golden ticket. Shall we see who won?
Big winner time.
I hope I'm going to Italy. Just want y'all to know. The golden ticket winner is Eric Herzog, and I hope I said that right. Eric, let us know where you are going. I am so jealous, and I really hope that you can take me with you in your suitcase.
Congratulations, Eric Herzog. We're proud of you. I know if it was me, I'd be on the beach. All right, you don't have to be a lucky winner like Eric. Here's your chance, guys. We're going to go to one of our signature events for the evening, and that's auctioning off this incredible painting. So we want to remind you that this painting, it's an artful expression and a beautiful act of love to create art like that. That's sort of like what you're doing tonight with Field of Hope. It's an artful expression to show love to your neighbor. So as much as I'd love to try to regale you with my subpar auctioneer skills as we guide you through the live auction tonight, instead of calling out numbers and talking fast, we're going to announce those live bids, and along the way, Alexa and I are going to remind you just a little bit about the people that you're impacting when you purchase this incredible, unique, one-of-a-kind piece of authentic Ugandan art, framed and ready to go. So with that being said, Alexa, I think we're ready
to start. Let's go ahead and start that bidding. We're going to open our auctions. But one thing I do want to say is that one of my favorite quotes is a Tim Keller quote, and he talks about meaningful work. And I think that Field of Hope does a lot of meaningful work. But Tim Keller defines that meaningful work as using the raw materials we are blessed with in a way that causes other people to flourish. I can't think of something that encompasses what Field of Hope does and what you're doing tonight by bidding on this piece and participating with us. There's just no more meaningful work that can be found.
All right, let's open our live auction bidding at $500. You should be able to click on your screen. Are we live auction ready?
Yep. Okay.
All right, opening bid is now ready at $500. And again, we want to remind you guys that every bid is a way to show that you've got a heart of giving and an impact on our community in Uganda and India. And what a really selfless way to also get something yourself. All right, our bid is up now to $550. Outstanding.
Now $600, $650. Thank you guys so much for bidding. We had Logan Kordenak at bid. Now we have Faith Meinzen, $700. Thank you.
All right, bids are climbing. $700 is the bid right now. And again, we want to remind each of you that whenever you're making this bid, not only are you bidding on an art piece, but you're still making a contribution to some of our friends, to our Ugandan team members. Like shout out to my OB Nicholas who did the pre-show and some of the great work that he's been doing with smallholder farmers and with teachers and trainers. It's an incredible community. We're really, really thankful that we get to make that contribution. And as we're talking about it, our bids climb to $700.
$750, $800. You know, to talk about Tobin's quote about how we can love people artfully, Van Gogh, one of the greatest artists ever, has a quote that says, he knows nothing more artistic than to love people. And for years, I have defined Field of Hope as loving our neighbor through agriculture, and that's what we're doing here tonight. And this painting is now at $900. Thank you guys so much for these bids that are coming in.
Outstanding. Let's keep those bids rolling. And this is the second year that we've done Sowing Seeds of Hope. The first year we had a really outstanding art piece that went for just over $1,500. We're aiming to increase that tonight. So let's get that bid war going. We're at $900. And again, this is a really one-of-a-kind art piece. It would look really great on my wall. I don't know if my wife's listening.
I bet she is.
Now we're up to $950. Outstanding. So keep those bids coming. We want to celebrate the fact that we can give cheerfully and that we can get a chance to take home this really outstanding art piece.
This painting really reminds me of one of my favorite places in Uganda, Sipi Falls. And the last time we were in Sipi Falls was January of 2020. We were there with a couple of Vivaic members and some volunteers. Right. And I just think that this whole piece just encompasses that view of a big waterfall. And I love that about this painting.
Yeah, it reminds me twice. We've been on a bus in Uganda going to visit our schools, and as we traveled near the Nile River, I remember 2 times that our bus had to stop because we saw a train of elephants going through Uganda and the Nile region. And I remember taking those pictures and just being really enthralled and just thinking, gosh, How much barbed wire fence do you have to build to keep out an elephant? I'm not trying to try it. Okay, look, we're at breaking 1,000. Our winning bid right now is at $1,000. It's over $1,000, which is also how much I would pay to not have to build barbed wire fence to keep out an elephant.
Well, there you go. Just as a reminder, this frame and all of the frames on the art pieces that we have listed tonight was handcrafted by the Gallery Frame Shop in Wichita Falls, Texas. We are so grateful for their partnership, and the work that they do is just bar none.
I want to call out our leading bidder right now is our friend Chuck Hammond, Board of Directors chairperson and one of the kindest people on the planet. Chuck, thank you, but I hope you don't get it. Somebody outbid our friend Chuck, because we know that this is a really outstanding art piece, and your bids today support more than just art. They support an expression of love that's a reflection of the love that Christ has for all of us. And I can think of no purer reason to be a cheerful giver than for that. So again, thank you for all the good work that you've done so far, friends and neighbors. We're going to keep this auction going.
You know, I think Chuck has a painting from last year of elephants, so he's probably starting a theme in his living room of Ugandan art exhibiting elephants. So maybe somebody should give him a run for his money here.
The Hammond Menagerie. We're getting close to calling it for the Hammond Menagerie, so that's this going once. Here's your chance, friends. Let's keep those bids coming in. We want to eclipse last year's art. We're at $1,050.
I think we may be good, Tobin.
Going twice. Not gonna hold my breath. Just a little bit. Congratulations, Chuck Hammond. You're the proud owner of this really outstanding Ugandan piece of art. Thank you, Chuck. We love you. We're really impressed and grateful as always for your leadership.
Speaking of Chuck, you know, one of our pillars at Field of Hope is leadership development. And not only is exhibited in Uganda and India, and our Ugandan team does such a great job at it, but it also is exhibited here in the U.S. by Board Chair Chuck Hammond and our Vice Chair Whitney Thurmond. We're going to hear from them in just a second about Field of Hope and why they're passionate about our cause and our mission. And I promise you that passion is so evident in the way that they speak about the work that we do. And we're just so lucky to be led by them. So let's hear from Whitney and Chuck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chuck Hammond, and I am the president of the Board of Directors of Field of Hope. And joining me tonight is Whitney Thurmond, who is the vice president of the Board of Directors. We want to welcome all of you who are watching our Sowing Seeds of Hope event. And we hope that something that we say or do or something that you see this evening will capture your hearts and capture your interests so that you would want to join us in the work that we do by becoming donors this evening. For all of you who have donated in the past, thank you so much for your support. I'd like to just take a minute and find out a little bit more from Whitney about how she first came to know about Field of Hope. So Whitney, it's all yours.
I was an employee of Vivaic and was on the original trip to Uganda to conduct our needs assessment and meet our teachers and learn what it would look like to develop 4 years of high school agricultural curriculum for the country and to work alongside those teachers to do that.
Thank you. And while you were there, did you have an opportunity to observe how Field of Hope is actually improving the lives of the farmers in Uganda?
One distinct moment I remember was walking out to a cornfield with a Ugandan farmer who had planted his corn in mounds. We had an agronomist with us on the trip, and when we got out there, we were able to share with that farmer that none of those plants would produce corn if they were left how they currently were planted in mounds. None of them were going to get enough nutrients to actually produce. So we were able to teach about planting in rows instead of mounds. And from that kind of spurred on this idea of these demonstration gardens that Field of Hope is now doing. And when we talk about the importance of demonstration gardens and the importance of how we educate, I think that this particular case with this farmer clearly speaks to what these demonstration gardens that Field of Hope is producing, whether they be for our farmers or for our students in their school gardens, that they're just a good experiential moment for farmers to be able to see, oh, this is a way I can plant and gain the most out of the seed that I have purchased and receive the highest yield.
That's a great example. So in other words, we're really helping those farmers take advantage of the resources they already have, but just to be able to use them a little more wisely to produce greater crops.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, every crop that a farmer produces comes with a lot of risk. You plant a seed in the ground and that seed has so much potential. And with every single weather event or every decision that a farmer makes, whether it be inputs or how they plant, can only keep that amount of yield or can reduce that amount of yield. And so in this case, that particular farmer had made some planting decisions that ultimately reduced his potential yield. And, there's not a lot of opportunity for risk when you are counting on every single crop to produce its highest amount. And so to try something new or to try a new planting technique, like for him, planting in rows would have been a new thing. This takes the risk out of it, right? You've gone into a demonstration garden where you've seen it produce and you feel confident in the decision that you've made next season to actually plant in rows.
So I learned about Field of Hope going all the way back to 2017. My wife and I made the decision to move from the state of Washington to Reno, Nevada. And some of the first people that we happened to meet after we moved were Mike and Kathy Hafner, who are two of the three co-founders of Field of Hope. And then in early 2018, they had invited Brandy Young and Alexa Wilcox to stay with them for a few days and invited my wife and I over to the house. So we'd gotten to know Mike and Kathy, and then we had the privilege of getting to know Brandy and Alexa. So early on, we were able to meet all three of our founders and our current executive director. My wife and I were excited about their excitement. They were highly motivated, they're very caring people, and they felt a really strong call to be working with smallholder farmers and students, agricultural students in Uganda and India. And after just hearing their passion that they have as they told their story about how Field of Hope got started, we decided we wanted to join in that ministry. We wanted to be part of the work that was going on in Uganda. And so we became donors in 2018 and have continued since. And I was asked to join the board of directors in 2020. So I joined last year in May. I joined actually after the start of COVID. And so I've not been able to travel yet to Uganda, but I certainly hope to do that soon. So any final thoughts you'd like to share with our audience this evening about why you are passionate about Field of Hope?
Chuck, I go back to this moment where we were reviewing grant applications. So our schools that work with us and use our curriculum have the opportunity to apply for what we call our Inspiring Students in Agriculture grants. And I think 2 years ago was my first time on the committee, and we had 17 or 18 grants. And as I read through them, I knew we weren't able to give all 17 or 18 schools the funds to bring their visions to life.
Right.
But man, as you read those, I think if everybody watching tonight could read those 17 to 18 grant applications to see the visions that they have for how to bring an agricultural experience into the classroom, gardens or piggeries or poultry facilities that they want to build, and that schools are willing to even put funds towards themselves. They just need help. They need a match. Man, you'd be ready to get out your checkbook, because I know reading those grants, I was inspired that day. I turned to my husband and said, "Where's our checkbook? I'm ready to fund an additional grant just based on reading through these." So, and that's the same with all that we do, all of our programs. When you get to see and hear the stories that come out of the work that we're doing, you're just so ready to give and support the work, because what they're doing is just amazing, and the visions that they have for how to improve agriculture in Uganda is so inspiring.
Well, thank you, Whitney, and I hope that you who are listening will feel the passion that Whitney has, the passion that I have, the passion that everyone on our board of directors, our staff, our people in Uganda. We have so many people who are filled with a passion to serve others and to help others. And I hope that you will decide to join us this evening in our mission of improving the lives of those people through agriculture. Thank you very much for joining, and thank you all for being a part of the future of Field of Hope.
Y'all, we have some wonderful news.
I woke up this morning and I wanted to bid on some silent auction items, and great news, you can do that now. Our silent auction is live again, so if you want to bid on these cool Navajo pearls, outstanding jewelry, you can do so right on our screen. And don't worry, I know some of you were like getting your clicking trigger fingers ready to bid on those silent auction items, and since we did have some technical difficulties earlier in the night, here's what we're going to do, Alexa. We're going to extend the silent auction deadline by 24 hours, which means our silent auction is going to run until 9 p.m. Central Time tomorrow night. So you've got some time to monitor and get your strategery ready to click to try to get that jewelry, some of that art, those outstanding Ugandan custom tailored clothes, or any of our other silent auction items.
You're right. And not only that, ladies and gentlemen, because of your generosity tonight, we have met our $15,000 match.
Way to go, team!
You should see that thermometer in the top right-hand corner moving up by $15,000 just shortly, and we cannot say thank you enough. This is huge, and it doubles your impact, but it also just makes a bigger impact on those in Uganda and India that Field of Hope so diligently works to support. But we're not done yet. We have even more opportunities for you to partner with us and to become part of the Field of Hope family and supporting those we love in India and Uganda.
That's right. You know, we're nearing the end of our show tonight. And so to close us out, we want to do one of those fun things. Remember back in the days where auctions and events happened real life in person. And at the end of those nights, there's this wonderful event called a paddle raise, where they would talk about specific levels of donation and how they translate to actual activities. And you raise your hand to make a bid, not on an item, but to pledge, I'll donate that much and support that activity. We're going to have a paddle raise right here tonight. And so the way it's going to work, we hope that throughout what you've learned about Field of Hope tonight, you feel called to really support one of those specific activities that spoke to you. Or maybe you're just like, I want to claim this on my taxes and I didn't beat Chuck in the auction. Either way, this paddle raise is a really outstanding chance for you to make a lasting contribution to Field of Hope.
Let's talk a little bit about the logistics. How's this going to work? Tobin or I are going to call out an amount, and we'll probably share some stories that relate to that project specifically. You will then see a specific button come across your screen for you to donate that amount. You have to hold and click that button until the bar is fully loaded for your donation to register in your account. So I think we're ready to get started, Tobin. Let's talk about some stories and let's share some hope.
Yeah, we'll talk about each of these levels. You'll see them appear at the bottom of your screen and click a Donate Now button. You can also see those levels outlined in another part of the screen. You know, the first level that we're going to start at, we didn't plan on starting at this level, Alexa.
Sure didn't.
We didn't plan on starting at this level, but we also know that God is spontaneous in ways that He blesses us. And a really outstanding, incredible anonymous donor has come to us and said, we want to set the first paddle raise level and we want it to be $5,000. That means that someone has just contributed $5,000. We're calling this our Hope for All level. Because if 2021 taught us anything, it's that Alexa's favorite word is pivot. And we had to pivot all of our programs from in-person to virtual. We had to pivot the way we thought about impact and community. And each of those collections and collaborations took time and took effort and took resources. And God has provided a way for Field of Hope to do those, providing hope for all of our partners in Uganda and India. You can help us extend that hope for whatever 2022's got planned for us, whatever it may be. Hope for All level. If you click Donate Now, you're pledging $5,000 to give Hope for All and contribute to all three of the pillars that Field of Hope operates in. Those pillars are youth agricultural development, smallholder farmer, and leadership development. And so each of those ways can be supported by your $5,000 ask or your $5,000 donation right now. So we're asking those of you who feel so compelled, click that button on your screen, and thank you for your support.
Yes, thank you guys so much. I think we'll move on to our $2,000 level of paddle raise donation. And you guys met Walter earlier, but we're going to let Tobin tell you a little bit more about the University Scholarship Program.
Walter is our very first scholarship winner. And as a scholarship winner from Field of Hope, that means Walter is able to attend Makerere University in Kampala, the capital of Uganda, where he's studying agricultural science. And we can't wait for Walter to be able to take that contribution of the scholarship and the knowledge that he learned at the university and put it back in his communities. Your gift of $2,000 tonight will help us fund the next scholarship for the next Field of Hope person to go and attend the university of their choice in their field of study to take it back and impact their community. So those $2,000 go a long way to really stretch and extend your impact. Even though it's a scholarship for one person, we've seen through Walter's experiences how he's taken new knowledge on agriculture and soil science and animal husbandry back to his practices in Field of Hope and into his own productions, which is really extending that benefit. You know, Walter said this really wonderful, beautiful thing about that scholarship. He said, I want to thank Field of Hope for this great consideration. It would not be possible without it, it would not be possible for me to advance my education. In a special way, I want to express my gratitude to every donor, that's you guys at home, every donor who has supported your generous contributions. You might never meet the people you support, but I must say that you're moving mountains in our lives and making our dreams come true. That's directly from our previous scholarship winner. So we'd like to ask now if any of you are ready to give at that $2,000 level to support the next scholarship for Field of Hope. If you are, click and hold that button on your screen.
You know, I'm really fortunate to be able to be the face of these donors and these generous contributions a lot of the times. And I have to say that one of my all-time favorite memories of any of my times in Uganda was with Dan Strumke when we notified Walter that he was going to be a scholarship recipient. He had worked and hoped and dreamt of that day for 30 years, essentially. And for us to be able to tell him, because of generous donors like you sitting at home, that his dream was coming true, that was life-changing for me and something that I'll never forget. So for $2,000, you can make that come true for someone else as well.
The next level in our paddle raise is $1,500. And for $1,500, you'll have an opportunity to support one of our women's program grants.
I am very fond of the women's program, and I've had a lot of experience with our women's program. That's how I was introduced to Field of Hope in 2017, conducting my thesis research on the efficiency and effectiveness of our women's program. And I am so proud to say that the results of that thesis stated that our women's program is effective, and in so many ways we're empowering women. And one way particularly is through this grant program. I'm going to introduce you to Sheila Agwang from the Omolitar district. Sheila is a beautiful lady. She has I think she has 3 children now, and she was a participant of our women's program. She joined a Omolitar group in 2015. She was one of the 40 original members, and she was able to secure savings along with the group so that she could provide education for her students. She put her children in school, and she also secured a grant or a loan from that grant to start her own business. And this is where you see her photographed here. With that grant, she was able to purchase a boda or a motorcycle taxi so she can move the commodities that she holds in her store throughout the village. She's able to provide food for her family. She's able to have a proper storage for her crops, which is such an issue for our farmers in Uganda. And all of that was made possible by $1,500 donation. $15,000 would work too, but by one $1,500 donation, her group was able to receive that grant, and that grant went on to affect change in her life and her children's lives, her husband's life, and her whole family's life. Not only that,
Alexa, did you know I took that photo?
You did.
I took that photo, and she was so proud to show us, like, it was a microfinancing loan from a women's cooperative group that helped do that part of this grant. And she was just so proud to say, look what I built from this. And I just really love that idea. And you can see that in the photo. Thanks for showing that. That's pretty cool.
Can.
Yeah, so the next level, we ask again, support those women's groups and the great work that they do there. The next level that we'd like to ask you to give to support a direct program is our Inspiring Students in Agriculture grant. This is a grant awarded by Field of Hope to secondary school programs that apply each year. You know, Field of Hope, through its youth agricultural education pillar, impacts over 63,000 students. And the ISA grants are one of the most valuable ways that we can provide that support. Schools and programs apply based on activities to be able to get these grants and start new activities. We love one story from a Bongamola Seed Secondary School where they applied for the Inspiring Students in Agriculture grant. And what did they get, Alexa?
So with that grant, there were 17 applicants, and you guys heard Whitney refer to this process a little bit in her video, but there were 17 schools who applied for this grant. Bongamola was selected as one of them, and they purchased 12 goats.
Now, they didn't just stick with 12 goats. They grew their goat herd from 12 goats to more than 20 goats, selling those off, goats and milk, and then eventually with the profits they gained from that, they were able to upgrade, and now they've got 13 goats and a heifer. That kind of upward mobility and inspiring agricultural work is what the Inspiring Students in Agriculture grant is all about. For $1,000, you can help make the next Inspiring Students in Agriculture grant possible. All you have to do is click on that button on your screen.
And you know, that grant affects over 400 students enrolled in Mbongamola Secondary School. And that's S1 through S4 students. They all have an active participation role in that project with the goats and with the cattle, and we mimic that across 5 schools annually. So we currently have 10 schools who are operating with those Inspiring Students in Agriculture grants, and for $1,000 you can make a project, a dream, an education come true for a student. And in COVID, and I think this is so interesting, during COVID-19 and the shutdown, so many of our teachers came back to the Ugandan team, to Nicholas, to Agnes, to Walter, and said, you know, I started this project in my school because of the grant, but then I found out that my students, while they're at home during COVID-19, they've started businesses that mimic the project that we started in the school. And we've heard that time and time again. Another school that received a grant was Iganga Secondary School, and they had a poultry project. And so they thankfully sold all their birds right before COVID-19 shut down the school. But what we learned was at least 3 girls had started their own poultry projects while at home during COVID-19 because they learned how to do that through the process of the grant project.
That's outstanding. And just to model how it's done, we see Whitney Thurman pledged $1,000 at this paddle raise level tonight. Thanks, Whitney and Kane, for your service and your leadership in showing us the way. The next level of opportunity you have to make a direct impact to Field of Hope's activities, and it's our $500 level. And at $500, you can provide 4 levels of teacher's guide and curriculum to a secondary agriculture teacher in Uganda. This speaks close to my heart. In fact, you know, when I met Field of Hope, I met them as a photographer on a project where they were working with teachers. And I loved the work so much, I stuck around and helped train teachers and help work with those teachers. So I've seen teachers at tiny little schools and at big schools and at urban schools and rural schools from all over Uganda come together to learn from the Field of Hope curriculum. Field of Hope worked together with Vivaic, another group that I'm pretty fond of because that's my job. I'm a proud team member of Vivaic, and every team member on our team touches this project where we create a curriculum to teach secondary agriculture. And that was important because previously the agriculture curriculum that teachers were using, some of it hadn't been updated since 1962. Yeah. And so Field of Hope and Vivaic worked together to create 4 years of a teacher's guide. Now, we don't just give them this guide, we also equip them with training and make sure our teachers have what they need to put that into practice. So this curriculum, when teachers receive this curriculum, it's a really important resource not only for them, but for their students as well. And we want to thank our board member, Stephanie Newby, who she raised her hand at the paddle raise right now. Stephanie has contributed $500 to provide a teacher with all 4 levels of curriculum, S1, S2, S3, and S4.
Another example of just how wonderful Vivaic is, I've spent hours on the phone with Amanda Fuller here recently. We are now revising S1 through S4 now that we've completed all of those levels. We're revising it to meet the new national syllabus in Uganda, and Vivaic is working so diligently to do that. So thank you again to Vivaic for all the work that you do there.
We're thankful for that work, and we're thankful that we get to put it in the hands of those teachers who need it. Your donation of $500 tonight helps us do that.
We're going to talk a little bit more again about the women's groups. And the women's groups are cooperatives, like Tobin mentioned earlier. We gather 40 women in local areas. They come together, they save together, and after a few months of saving, they're able to start giving each other loans. In addition to that, we come in as Field of Hope and we provide agricultural training. Many of these women, when we first get into their community, they're scattering their seeds and then they're walking away, maybe to come back at harvest time. We come into those communities, we teach them to plant in rows, we teach them how to purchase improved inputs and how to apply fertilizers, pesticides, how to weed their garden weekly, and how to work together so that they can have increased yields so that not only can they feed their families, but they can provide that field can provide income to send their students to school.
Now, before we talk about that training though, let's talk about our $250 level, which is a demonstration garden.
I was getting there. So part of those trainings is the demonstration garden. And what we've learned through research and through practice is that those women are a lot more willing to take the risks of purchasing those improved inputs if they can first see them work. And so this demonstration garden level of $250, it's a true partnership, and that's one of Field of Hope's core values. Field of Hope partners with these women. Like you can see this photo that Tobin's very proud of here on the cover of our photo book. We partner with these women so that we can go into a farm together. They help us with the labor, and we provide them training while they do that, and we provide those inputs so that they can truly see the things that we're promoting and the tactics we're promoting can really have a benefit for them and their family. So for $250, you get to support these demonstration gardens.
And just like Alexa mentioned, those gardens don't come in a vacuum, right? Those gardens come along with trainings to help support those gardens and to help us cultivate the people who are operating in them. So for $100, you can help provide 2 women's groups trainings to help support those fundings. Provide 2 sessions. Field of Hope conducts a variety of trainings for our women's group, ranging from crop and animal science to gender and nutrition trainings. These trainings provide invaluable support and education to the rural women of Uganda, and the positive impacts of these trainings extend to the families as well, helping improve the lives of husbands, children, parents, and more. Through these trainings, women are able to learn about money, budgeting, planning, start a business, just like Sheila, like you saw the picture earlier.
Yep, and one of the things we don't talk much about these trainings is that these women come together and they have this sense of community. They're able to grow in their leadership development skills. A lot of the women would profess that these trainings allowed them to gain confidence to speak in front of groups, to confront the city councils of the villages that they're part of, and to be able to be active participants in their community, which I think is something that's so valuable.
And we want to give a special thanks to Field of Hope Board of Directors member Steve and Faith Meinson. They raised their hands and said, we're going to give $100 tonight to provide 2 of those women groups specific outstanding training. So thank you to Steve and Faith. Thank you to all of those who've given at any of those levels so far tonight. Your impacts, your donations directly impact those activities and help us sow seeds of hope across Field of Hope's programs.
It's been a wonderful night. I think there has been so much good happening tonight. You guys, I cannot imagine the blessings that are going to come from the fruits that we've been able to harvest tonight. And so thank you so much for not only being here and learning more about Field of Hope and of course supporting us, but for just sharing your love for your neighbors across the oceans in India and Uganda. I promise you that they feel it and that they are loving you back. They send their prayers, they send their gratitude, and they're just so thankful. This is your last opportunity while you get to stare at Tobin and I's faces to donate tonight. And I'll remind you that that donate button is to the right hand of this screen where you see us. And we just are so thankful for anything that you are able to give. We understand that everyone is a joyful giver at different levels, and we're just so thankful for your consideration.
Any dollar or any level helps us to spread the love of Jesus through agricultural development and connection. And really that's what it's about. It's about connection. We hope you felt that connection tonight. We hope you felt it whenever you saw our partners like Walter or Nicholas or Agnes. We hope that you saw it whenever you heard stories like Steve talked about in the pre-show of our work in India. We hope that you hear it and feel it whenever you connect with the other programs that we talked about in the stories tonight. And ultimately, we hope that we can continue those programs. And we can't do that without your support. Thanks for your donations. Thanks for your cheerful giving. And ultimately, thanks for a great night.
We also just want to say one last time, thank you to Vivaic for making this evening possible. We couldn't do it without you, and we're so thankful for your partnership.
Like we said earlier, that silent auction is going to stay open for 24 more hours until 9 p.m. tomorrow night. So get your clicking going, and let's celebrate again through those silent auction items. It's been a great evening. Thanks so much for all your help. Apoyo Matek.
Obanga Migu. Thank you so much, Field of Hope family. We love you.
Thanks.
I am so happy to meet Fields of Hope.
I would like to send my sincere thanks to Field of Hope for their curriculum that they have given to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you so much.
So we are saying bravo, thank you so much for Field of Hope.
May God bless you all.